Hello, guys, and welcome to another All Ball special. I'm Carl from the channel, and today we have a very special guest. He's one of the best young prospects in the country right now, and he represents the Kerala Blasters. Ladies and gentlemen, Ayush Adhikari, welcome to the show.
Hi.
How's it going, Ayush? Busy day today or just relaxing?
No, just relaxing because of all this
All good,
lockdown
all
season.
good. All right, preparing for the preseason, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Pretty much. All right, so Ayush, the first question I need to ask you though is, what made you fall in love with football? What made you take up football? What inspired you?
So I was like every other boy. I used to play football, cricket, and every other game when I was around 7 or 8. And the main reason why I started playing football because of my father, because he was, a coach in a local academy in our locality.
Hmm.
So because of that, there used to be many balls in our houses. So I used to play in house, streets, in the park, everywhere with friends. And one day, my father took me to his academy, and from there on, I started going there regularly. I loved the atmosphere and everything. From there on, it became moreover like the love for the game increases, and from there on, I started playing football. So the main
No,
reason is
well,
my father, because of my father.
absolutely. I mean, dads always play a very influential role in in taking up a lot of things in a young man's life. And I know in the past that you've also mentioned that that your father played a very influential role. And coming to an influential part of your life, actually, you were a part of the You Dream football program
Yeah.
at a very early age, and you had to travel to Germany and spend 4 years in Germany. Describe that experience, especially for a young Indian footballer, at such a young age, traveling all the way to Germany to train.
Yeah, I think that was the main breakthrough for me and life-changing moment. I think from there on, it started became more kind of profession as a footballer, and from everything you also know the setup and atmosphere in Europe about football is so high as compared to India. But from there on, I started becoming more focused over football, and I came to know that this is what I have to do. I improved a lot there, my basic and everything, the professionalism, the food, the timings, the rest, and everything was so professional. So from I stayed there for almost more than 3 years, and
Mhm.
from there on, I improved a lot, and I think that was my breakthrough in my professional career.
Yeah, I mean, we've had players in the past that we've interviewed. I mean, not only the Indian players, but actually majority of the foreign players that we've interviewed in the past. They've also told us, that it's a lot more important for young Indian footballers to get out there, and get as much exposure, towards playing football in foreign countries, whether it's in Europe or any other part of the world. And you know what? That's
Yeah,
actually a really good experience for you because like as you just mentioned, it enhanced your skills. It made you the better player that you are today. And because of that, you've been able to represent really good teams. You played for Ozone FC, Indian Arrows, and you're currently playing for Kerala Blasters at a very young age, Ayush. So for you, what would you say is your best memory so far in this journey of football?
I think every good game becomes the best memory, and not even just good games, even the bad ones where we don't play good or we lose the game. That is also a learning part. But I think when I came from Germany to India, and I came to know that now I have to start my kick off my career in India. So I had no idea about Indian football, how it works, and so from there on, I started from Ozone FC in Bangalore. I played, Bangalore League first from Bangalore League, and then I played second division I League from Ozone FC, and from there on Santosh Trophy, then Kerala Blasters, and Indian Arrows. So every club I had a very good memory.
And yeah, you were even the top scorer at the Santosh Trophy, yeah, for Delhi. So I mean, I'm sure that also made a lot of selectors take notice. And you know what? I mean,
Yeah,
again, like I said, you're such a fortunate young man, to get to play in Europe and to get that so much of experience and bring it to India because in India there's so many young players or upcoming players who don't get that exposure. So I mean, it's a very lucky break for you. But I want to
yeah.
ask you though, you mentioned a little bit earlier when I was talking about your time in Germany. uh, what would you think were the bigger culture shocks when you went to Germany? I mean, you mentioned things like the diet and the schedule and the professionalism, but were you already prepared for what Germany was going to bring to you, or you were just saying, okay, I'm just going to go there and see what life is? What do you think was one of the strangest things you found on that travel to Germany?
Yeah, as you know, at starting, I didn't know much about how it's going to be or how it would like to be to go in Europe and to play there. But I always knew that Germany, the country like Germany, they are very good in football and they have World Cups. And because that time in 2014 they were the champions. So
Hmm.
after going there and things just went happen, everything playing with foreigners, playing with German teams, and everything just happened in a flow. I
Yeah,
didn't,
okay.
recalculate it that this is going to happen. It just happened in a flow.
Absolutely. So, Ayush, we're going to go now into a segment of this special in which I like to call explainogram. It's a little fun little bit where we basically go through all your social media and pick out a few fun pictures which you can give us a little bit more detail. Give You can be as elaborate as possible. So we're just going to run it through you right now. We're going to show you your first picture. If you can check it in your frame right now. Yeah. So this was you at the U Dream Football Academy.
Yeah, so this is, I think, the photo from 2015 when we used to train at Hoffenheim in Germany.
Mhm.
It's from there, and I was like 15 years old that time. I remember the training session when they took this photo.
Those tiring training sessions, yeah, in Hoffenheim. Like, but again, you really enjoyed that experience over there with them, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Moving to our next question, I mean, to our next picture, actually. There we go.
This match have very good memory. This is from I League match against East Bengal in East
Hmm.
Bengal home in Kalyani.
Hmm.
So we were playing there, and East Bengal they are very huge side in Indian football. They were having all the possession and a lot of fan in the stadium. And at the end, we won the game. So it was really
One of those
good
big
for us.
major upsets. Yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah.
Beating a home team at home is probably one of the best feelings I think for any player. I think when they beat the home team at home.
And that
So I'll
too,
give
East Bengal.
that to East Bengal. So I mean, that's you gotta appreciate that as an achievement there, yeah,
Yeah,
Ayush, because you
that was
played
a
really
really
well.
feeling in a front of East Bengal crowd. There was a lot of crowd in that match.
And again, you came out victorious. So kudos to you. We're
Yes,
going to move to the next picture now, which I'm going to show you. Ah, so this was your Hero of the Match award.
yes, yes, yes. This was, I think, my second match in I League against Naroka, and that was one of the best game of mine, and I played really good in that game. I remember, and we drew that game. That
Oh,
was
okay.
amazing feeling. I didn't know that I was going to win this Man of the Match award, I League, but absolutely, this was an memorable feeling for me.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's the one of many to come in your career. I mean, you're only getting started, Ayush. And lastly, we have the last picture we'd like to share with you quickly.
Yeah, this is my debut.
Aha.
So again, this is also one, absolutely one of a memorable moment in my footballing career because, you know, coming from I League to ISL, so it was a kind of different league and different atmosphere. And this was my first year. The last season was my first year in ISL.
Hmm.
So I was working hard since the first day to get my chance, and it is really hard for a young player to just just to straightforward to get into things. It's really very hard for the young player. So finally
Yeah.
getting a minute, it was like it was like a hard work paid off kind of moment for me.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody wants to play at the biggest stage, Ayush. And you know what? Like I said, you're just getting started. It's only going to go higher for you from here. And you know what? That kind of ends our segment there about explainogram. And we're going to come towards the more funner part of this interview, and I've been told that you're a big fan of, as a midfielder, you're a big fan of Tony Cruz and Luka Modric. You consider them as your idols. But since you're playing in the ISL, who do you think you would say you admire in terms of Indian midfielders?
In terms of Indian midfielder, I used to see like more of just like my teammate Sahal and also Chilean midfielder Anil Bhai. They these
Hmm.
two are very good, and their techniques and the work rate and the skills and the creativeness in the game. I look forward to it.
Absolutely, that's some good names actually throughout the Ayush. And again, like again, you can also learn from these kind of players, and that's very important for you, especially in your development since you're just getting started. But I want to ask you another question though, Ayush. If you're not playing football and you're not practicing football, because I know it's a job, but what does Ayush Adhikari like to do to relax? What does he like to do when he's not playing football?
When I'm not playing football, I usually watch some series, kind of some European football series,
Mm-hmm.
or I just play PlayStation,
Uh-huh.
or just go out for a walk with friends to hang out with friends. That's all.
Oh, so you
And
like to
to spend more of the time
socialize.
with family. Yeah.
And what kind of series would you normally prefer? Like, is there anything particular you're watching right now, or you just pick a random series and
Not,
you watch?
no, not random, because mostly which is about football,
Oh,
like
okay.
All or Nothing in Amazon Prime, those kind of
Hmm.
series, and hanging out with friends, because that's what we miss during the season.
Oh, okay. And you've listed, and coming back to what we discussed, you've always said that your father has been one of the most influential people, and for you to take up the sport. Would you kind of say that there are other people also? Who would you name normally besides your father as a more bigger influence, or at least another influence for you to take up the sport?
Not to take up, but I think there is my coach Mahesh sir, who was with me in U Dream and also in Indian Arrows as well. I think he guided me a lot in my career, and he told me not just on the field, and he gave me the the feeling that how important is to be professional off the field, and how much it matters for a player, that how he prepare himself off the field. And I think because of Mahesh sir, I have improved myself a lot, not just on the field, also off the field.
And what would you say is probably the best kind of advice? What would you say is the best advice for a young and upcoming footballer that you would like to give to the other young and upcoming footballers? Like what do you think would be the best form of advice you'd give them to pursue this as a career?
I think the best advice would be to work hard not just on the field, also to maintain themselves off the field, and always believe in what they are doing. Always be faithful to your work.
Mm, absolutely, absolutely. Ayush, I want to ask you though, if it wasn't football, what else do you think would actually be your alternative career?
I haven't thought of it yet, what it would be.
Oh well, again, you're a young lad.
Yes.
Again, you're just enjoying. It's your world. We're only living in it. But lastly, Ayush, this is a fun question I like to ask most of the time, but I haven't had the opportunity. But you're going to be the lucky one to get it. Now, with you in the midfield, who would you have the other four members in your five-a-side squad? You can take international, local, your best friends. It doesn't matter.
In five side,
Yeah.
including me. So I have to select
Yes.
four.
Yeah.
Okay. So I select Neymar
Uh huh.
because of his skills. Messi
Uh huh.
for sure. And I select. Mm,
You got to need a goalkeeper,
Hello.
unless you want to play in goal.
I need goalkeeper as well, right? I need
Yeah.
goalkeeper as well. Okay. So I'll select. I'll select. I'll select our Indian goalkeeper,
Amarinder.
Albino.
Oh, Gurpreet. Oh, okay. Fair enough. All
No, no,
right.
Albino Gomez.
Albino, all right. And
Yeah.
lastly, your fourth member,
My fourth member. Okay, my fourth member would be Modric.
Luka Modric. Of course, Luka Modric, your football hero. Ayush,
Yes.
it has been a huge pleasure having a chat with you. I really do appreciate you taking so much of time to have this. I mean, taking time out of your schedule to have this discussion. I really do appreciate it. And you know what? I'm looking forward to see you progress in the future. I'm sure there's a lot of fans from Kerala Blasters or just football in general who are very keen in seeing your career prosper. So you know what? Thank you once again very much. And for those watching at home, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ayush Adhikari. Please do look out for him in the next season of the ISL. This is Carl from the All Balls channel. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you when I see you.
Thank you.